I jinxed it! Bro, imagine how clutch I would have been if I got that shit. Bro, I literally had that, man. Literally, if it wasn't for that corner, I would have won that.
Are you all still here?
I almost won it, yeah. I was this close, but the corner just like, it messed up the horse. I was like the cheating here.
We have a lot happening with Cyberpunk 2077 at the moment with Update 1.7, the Phantom Liberty DLC, some more info on the recent Cyberpunk Orion sequel, and all kinds of cool stuff going on in Cyberpunk 2077. CD Projekt Red apparently never gave up on Cyberpunk 2077, constantly updating the game and sticking it out through one of the worst launches in gaming history, and then coming back from the dead out of absolutely nowhere thanks to what was probably the best gaming marketing strategy to ever come into existence, releasing a masterpiece of an anime, Cyberpunk Edgerunners, alongside the coinciding Edgerunner update to go with it, forcing the Trauma team to swoop in and take the game from flatlined up to a whopping 1 million players a day, playing fearlessly the potential that this series has, and I mean, it really did. Even before all of the updates that have added content to the game, if it weren't for all of the bugs, Cyberpunk was already a pretty good game, just not really the one that was promised. The world that they've somehow created and expanded upon even more with the anime is just insane. There is so much depth here that it's almost overwhelming, and the end is nowhere in sight. The developers themselves call Cyberpunk a series and have talked about how much they're going to do with this universe, where shortly after they announced the sequel. Before the Phantom Liberty expansion, which we'll go over here in a minute, there are going to be a ton of game-changing improvements to appear in updates, and likely even update 1.7. Obviously, we'll be getting these graphical improvements featuring an all-new overdrive mode for ray tracing, which will most likely appear in the very next update, thanks to the release of the new graphics cards. It's said that the upcoming updates will expand upon the police system, which has already had quite a bit of updates in the past after the initial criticism of the cops not being active enough in the game at launch. Since then, they've become more responsive and active in pursuing it, almost Red Dead 2 stand.
Nice, good job. Fuck.
So maybe you've just picked up the game for the first time, or maybe you've put in a good few hours and you're ready to learn what the game is really all about. This video has got you covered. And as some of you might know, I have a series on my channel where I spend 100 hours going over a mechanic and then breaking it down for you at the end of the process. Someone suggested that tying into that series, I should make a video detailing the kind of things you should focus on for your first 100 hours in the game and how to set yourself up for success. And I thought that was a brilliant idea. If you are one of those newer players and this is your first time seeing the channel, well, I'm a fan of it. I post educational content weekly and I aim to help the community in any way that I can. And as perfect timing for you guys, a huge project and one that has come back with incredible results already is my new Rules to Ranking Up course over on Gamers Ready. Essentially, this course takes a player at any level and gives them the skills and knowledge to skyrocket through the ranks straight to the top. It's a one-off payment of $20, but using the code Standervic will get you 20% off. This course covers all aspects of gameplay and across all levels, and so I strongly suggest checking it out and giving yourself a massive head start over the competition. Keeping that short and sweet, there are a few things I'm going to rush over because they don't all need that much explaining. First things first, change the default camera settings. You don't quite know what works out for you yet, I understand, but trust me, change to something like this, change a few things here and there, and make sure to turn camera shake off, and you're going to be in a much better state than many other players who leave them on default. Course over on Gamers Ready. Essentially, this course takes a player at any level and gives them the skills and knowledge to skyrocket through the ranks straight to the top. It's a one-off payment of $20, but using the code Standervic will get you 20% off. This course covers all aspects of gameplay and across all levels, and so I strongly suggest checking it out and giving yourself a massive head start over the competition.
Damn.
Keeping that short and sweet, there are a few things I'm going to rush over because they don't all need that much explaining. First things first, change the default camera settings. You don't quite know what works out for you yet, I understand, but trust me, change to something like this, change a few things here and there, and make sure to turn camera shake off, and you're going to be in a much better state than many other players who leave them on default. Next, take a look at your controller settings and find the ones you feel comfortable with. The link to my settings are in the description, but as long as you're comfortable jumping and boosting at the same time, you'll be fine for now. If you want to make things easy for yourself long term and never really have to change these, which I suggest, look into that video and see how my settings feel for you. Next, we're going to talk about your car. Many to choose from, 4 you're actually going to see being used. Just play the Octane until you're given a reason not to. And if you need a reason not to, trust me, just scroll down on the video and there'll be a decent amount in the comments. If you want to play like the big boys, you don't usually run a topper or a flag because it can be distracting at times. But you can also just do your thing, dude. No one really cares. Next up, this free play mode. At first, I understand that it can seem really boring just hitting the ball around and it not doing much. But I strongly suggest just putting a little bit of time in every day, even if it is just shooting over and over again. I promise you, you will progress and improve faster than a new player that doesn't do this. Sticking with training, definitely run through the beginner training packs that Psyonix provides at least twice a day. These give you a base understanding of the different aspects of gameplay, and in doing so, will train your fundamentals in different ways. Now, when it comes to actually working on things in your early days, you might feel overwhelmed. You could be thinking, there is so much to learn in this game. Flying, spinning, strange mechanics that I can't quite get my head around. And yes, that's completely fair. This is a game that takes time. You don't really pick it up and learn everything in a week. But that's the fun part. You see very early on that this is a long-term journey and not a short-term grind. You work over a lot of hours and you see progression. It feels more and more rewarding as you make your way up the ranks. But starting at the start, the main thing to focus on is getting used to your car and hitting the ball properly. You'd be surprised how many people just throw themselves at the ball and hope it goes in without really thinking about how they're hitting it and even what direction they're facing. Remember that this is a physics-based game. Hit the ball from the right-hand side and it goes left. Hit the ball from the left-hand side and it goes right. So, learn to use your car to hit the ball where you want. Now, an easy drill that you beginners can start doing is jumping into free play and from wherever you spawn, try to hit the ball into the goal without it bouncing, but without changing your direction too much. This means it's straight shooting practice if you're on one of the straighter spawns, and more of an angled shot on the side spawns. Learning to use the corners of your car to hit the ball is also how you'll get the most power out of your hits. So not only will this be training your accuracy, but also your ability to hit the ball with force. So, you have your camera settings down, your controls, you're running through a few of the training packs, and you have a small drill to train accuracy and power. Here are a few basic things to keep in mind when heading into the game. Just because you can hit the ball doesn't mean you should. If your teammate is in a better position than you, let them go for it. If you and your teammate are going for the same ball, it is easier if you pull away early. Yes, you might be in a better position to hit the ball, but relying on your teammates to understand that in the moment is a big ask. And by both of you going for it, you're going to often end up being scored on because neither of you are there to defend. You can flip around the field to give yourself a speed boost until you get this trail behind your car. After that, you are traveling at max speed and no longer need to hold down boost. The amount of points you get in the game do not matter. Don't get upset if you're the lowest on the scoreboard, as long as you know you contributed to winning the game. Lastly, don't try to fly for everything. You just aren't there yet, and you will lose because of it. Take your time, and you will get there with patience. So, with all that in mind, you're in the game. From here, play a lot of casual. You will learn more about how everything works by playing as much as you can, obviously. But if you want to get really good at this game, you should be playing with the intent to improve. Look for mistakes and times where you might be the reason your team gets scored against, and then take that knowledge into your next game. Personally, I'm someone who really enjoys games with high skill ceilings for this reason. I love seeing improvement in my own gameplay, and so whatever new competitive game I pick up, I go into it trying to learn as much as I can as soon as I can. An easy way to do this in Rocket League is by saving your replays and going over key moments, like where you might concede or you might miss an easy shot. Going back over and watching your gameplay to see where you need to improve is the single best tip I can give you for every single rank. You can do this at Bronze and you can do this at Grand Champ. It literally goes for every single rank along the journey. At least watching over one replay from your session each day is going to give you so much to work on long term that you're going to improve insanely quickly. So that's your information for your first 50 hours or so. Now, normally I just tell people to play the game and learn, but those are some things you can actually do to give yourself a good start. For the next 50 hours, you want to work on things that get a little trickier. Work through aerials and some of the more advanced training packs that Psyonix provides, and try to push yourself to get faster and more accurate with them as you go. You want to start learning things like the basics of dribbling, learning to balance the ball on top of your car while moving with speed and while slowing down. Keeping control of the ball while dribbling is very difficult at first, but like all things, no matter how tough it seems at first, it can be developed and learned over time. Small drills you can do is driving around without using boost and while only using boost. So this way you get the hang of where you need to position the ball during the dribble depending on your speed. Now, dribbling and ground control in general is a massive factor when it comes to our next point, which is dedicating a lot of time into 1v1s. Now, if you've been around the channel for a while, you will already know why I'm a massive fan of 1v1s. So, when I started playing, everyone told me 1v1s were the best way to improve. And even now, 2 years from then, I'm telling you the exact same thing. Play as many 1v1 matches as you can. The reason 1v1 matches help you more than any other playlist is because you are forced to defend everything by yourself and attack everything by yourself. Each of your decisions directly impacts the game. You have no one to back you up, no one to save a shot if you miss time a tackle, and no one to help you if you miss a shot. 1v1 teaches you all the flaws and mistakes very quickly, and yes, because of it, it can make you very, very angry very quickly. But anger only means you're making mistakes. If you played a perfect game, you would win. If you played a close to perfect game, you would still most likely win. Once you start playing around average or even slightly below average, you have to rely on your opponent not playing well as well. This is why you should enter every game with this mindset of being alert and trying to focus on where you're making mistakes. It forces you to stay active during the match and stops you from falling into a state of playing on autopilot, which unfortunately is the reason a lot of people play for hundreds and hundreds of hours without really improving. If you go into each game just going through the motions and not really paying attention as to why you're doing what you're doing or how they're affecting the game around you, you're going to have a really slow grind up the ranks and will end up hating ones in general, as well as making a load of mistakes.
That's all that happening.
Finally, to conclude, a mentality tip that I just wanted to give is that I understand that we all want to get to the highest rank, and you might want to get there as fast as you can. But this game, more than most, isn't one you can pick up and learn instantly. There isn't really a game you can come from where the skills cross over. You have to start somewhat fresh, which means the start is going to be a little rough for you. But take your time. Don't get upset if you can't get something down or if you're struggling with a certain mechanic. It takes a good few hundred hours to really get anywhere in this game. But the more you learn and the more time you put into the game, the more you'll get out of it. Your control will improve, your mechanics, your creativity. You can really develop your own style of play and further it the more you learn as you make your way up the ranks. Now, if you're looking for any more videos to help you improve, check out my channel and see if there's anything you want to look into. Otherwise, take a look at the course which is linked in the description and read through everything it covers. And if you are brand new to this game, that course is going to cover everything. 50 Rocket League tips for beginner to advanced. But I tried to make it not too much of this. Yes, if you are brand new to the game, I'm doing this first. Just please play the game. You need to first actually get some hours into this to understand this game. Don't worry about fancy mechanics or how to roleplay or how to do this and that. Just focus on hitting the ball and keeping the game exciting. If you are newer and you want some good settings to start off with, or just want to try out some new ones, I would say that I have pretty stock standard settings you should try out. For newer players, I suppose anything is better than default, but these settings are ones that are almost identical to what you know. So start with this. Oh, and also set up camera shake. You have two camera specs, roll cam and top cam. Now, when you're starting off, I recommend you use roll cam 90% of the time. It's going to make it easier to track the ball as it makes its way around the field, and even though it may feel a bit off-putting, it's something you do need to get used to. The only time I recommend turning on card cam when you're starting out is when you're on your way back to defense, so you can go over some of the loose pads, but also make sure that you don't fuck with other teammates. The card doesn't have to. You can use anything. Yes, there are cards that you can put it, but you can use anything and it can be viable. Just go with something like Stigma. If you are someone that reverses from out of position, so reversing is only helpful in very, very specific situations. Instead, it is a lot better than to put your top foot and start driving the other direction. This way you maintain momentum and you don't end up really stopping and starting. Very simple tip, boost is one of the most important aspects of this game, so it's important you know where all the pads are in order to keep yourself up on boost the entire time. To learn this, just go to free play, open up the boost, and move your way around the field. The plan to yourself to keep that unit in the game. Whenever you're landing badly from a run or aerial or just in general, always hold power side. That lets your wheel slide and you carry the momentum, which you can then use to half flip or side flip to get yourself back in the game. It might seem boring to lower ranks, but please trust me, the more you play, the more you will be once you play. It's the most time you can have on the board, and so it's easily one of the best ways to improve all the technical aspects of your game. Make sure you spend some time in here between your games just to warm up or just to keep yourself motivated. The right stick is used to look around the field and see what's going on outside your computer. Not enough people use it, even I really use it because I really need to change very well. Get used to using it every now and then to keep tabs on where your teammates and opponents are, and so you can get better at your position and decision making during the game. Lower ranked players have this issue quite a bit. They tend to flip into everything. Just go. A lot of the time, just take a little touch or just keep your wheels on the ground and drive into the field. This way, with a fast recovery, with the chance to bump or demo the opponent behind the ball, you can save your foot to move after the challenge and you don't end up bouncing out of the pit in a weird way with your wheels something way over top. Power hits are essential to every aspect of this game. Not only scoring and shooting, make sure you train both ways though. It's going to be so much better if you down the track. This is something you do early on in this game. Listen, your rank is you can be improving and still be the same rank. It's fine. You can still go down a few ranks. It's completely fine. The way you need to look at it, if you're improving but losing, eventually you don't improve and you can easily climb back up again. And then eventually you'll improve to the point where you can move past the rank you were stuck on. Rocket League is a long-term game, so stop treating it like you highest ranked model. The side flip is one of the easiest and most expensive for players to beat.
Wow.
But you're doing more than just flip sideways. It's not only just the ball high and smooth, it also makes you land on the wall a lot faster than any other flip, which is incredibly helpful to even use recovery. There are plenty of tutorials if you need extra help, but this is definitely the flip to start off with. This game is hard. It takes thousands of hours to learn the ins and outs and thousands more to learn how to do everything really well. So, don't feel like you're having some trouble with the mechanics or getting to the rank. Just know that it only takes time for all of us. 1v1 matches offer you the most time on the ball and end up being, if you make a mistake, you get punished. In game modes with a teammate, you can have backup when you make mistakes. Once, you get scored on. It is a very simple way to see what your faults are and also be a great way to improve your challenge game, your recoveries, and your shooting. Kickoffs are one of the things you have to do in every single game of Rocket League. So why would you risk not being good at something that you know you have to do every single time you play a match? Learn a really good kickoff and practice it. Understand the ins and outs and train it in a lot of ones matches. For some of you, this might be a very simple diagonal for kickoff. Higher ranks will probably be the speed ball. Either way, you get one idea about and start the ball ready to go. When the ball is in while you're on the walls, it takes you to just fire and go for it, but it's much more efficient to use the walls rather than then move off the wall to attack the ball. This is going to save you boost, time, and give you more power behind your touches. This one is huge. The more you watch pro play, the more you start to see how they play the same games, just to a different degree. And no, I don't mean that they play Rocket League just like you. I mean, when you watch pro gameplay, it's not often all these flash mechanics and incredible balls. Yes, you still have them, but you'll find the majority of the game is played with the basics. The touches, the rotations, accurate shooting, and solid passing. These are all things you can build on into your own gameplay no matter what rank you are, and you can get a better idea about all of them just by watching the best of the best. Do not need to always be perfect. Things can look like when you're waiting for more time to lose some speed, you'll take back, but all the time is just making you go out of position. In the middle of a flip, you cannot really stop yourself or adjust yourself, so you might end up being mid-flip when you're moving up to the top of the ball. So, if you are near the play or the play is very light to move your way soon, try to keep your wheels to the ground to give you a faster reaction. Possession is key if you to win. By moving the ball down the field every time it comes to you, you are instantly giving up pressure and your opponent's possession of the ball. Instead, if you have the time, try to control the ball, dribble, take a touch, and then look for a play. There will be times where moving the ball will be a good option. For example, you're being heavily pushed in while defending, or if you're giving your team time to reset. But if you do have the time to control, take that time to control. Just an overall really good pack to practice if you better with shooting. I recommend it for people at any rank, but obviously it's going to be a lot harder for some. A simple tip that will save you a lot of trouble. Right before you're about to get into a ball, just make sure you're lined up. This way you don't have to worry about air rolling really on to get yourself close to it, and you can use your boost instead to get there as fast as you can. Easy. Like stated earlier, trying to control the ball out and moving away is really important. But if you're under a lot of pressure and you can't properly control the ball or moving away, you should try to push towards it 50-50. Moving away from the ball means to get back on defense quickly or because it will stop you from having any pressure at all. And even if the 50-50 lead you start to reduce, you're still buying time for your team to back you up. A 50-50 also means that the opponent has complete control over where the ball goes after the challenge. And
That's just pathetic. Can we not? Mercy or something like it. Are they? They're literally just giving me a goal, aren't they? And I messed that up. Oh my god. Oh my god, this is terrible. Oh my god, this is just copy at this fucking... Yeah, forfeit. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do.
Another easy tip, face the ball. Even if you are facing the ball at all times, means you're going to be able to react faster to the play and have an easier time getting involved. If I start turning back too early, my opponent might be able to see. It's always about it. Sorry, brought me to the party. Moving on. It's always about business, yeah, you know I'll be on time, be online to be specific, yeah, it's silly, made me strong and digital, I'll be with you if you're willing, through the phone I'm sending kisses, I go all through the night, I'm still ambitious, I can't lie, I do confess to having issues, man, this life, it's always about business, yeah, you know I'll be on time, be online to be specific, yeah, this shit gets silly, made me strong and digital, I'll be with you if you're willing, through You're great. Well, I mean, thanks. Okay, so it's great, yeah. I don't think a lot of it. Maybe on Monday, but it's healthy for you too. Maybe it's Tuesday. Grape sodas. How long have you been drinking lean for? This is a blue. Blue's a blue. No, sorry. What else is that called?
grape soda? Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Say you can't take it. No, grape soda's great, yeah. I don't drink a lot of it on Monday, but it's healthy for you too. Maybe it's Tuesday. Grape soda is. Yeah. Okay. Right. So.
What? Wait, golden egg.